Why it's important to meet some people here in Europe, in Brussels?
I think it's important to break the silence about what we're doing in the occupied territories. As soldiers who serve there, we know the truth of what we've done, and we don't have ownership of the truth. So I think it's our moral duty to speak to everyone who's willing to listen and yell at everyone who's not willing to listen. And I think this is important information that people need to know.
Okay, so you're talking about the truth. Which truth you're talking about?
I served in the IDF from March 2001 to March 2004. And 2 years of my service were in the West Bank, conducting the occupation over Palestinian people there. And basically, as Breaking the Silence, as a group of over 1,000 ex-soldiers, were trying to raise awareness to the moral price tag of this reality.
Yeah. And when you start, you wasn't concerned about what you were doing, what you were doing with the other people like you, human beings?
The thing is that when you're a soldier, you don't really understand what's going on. Military logic, military way of thinking, that's how you operate. And sadly enough, as a soldier in the occupied territories, you're in a place where you cannot see anymore the people you're controlling, the Palestinians in front of you, as equal human beings to you, because your job is to implement an immoral occupation. And for me, it was only towards the end of my service where I was suddenly able to understand what I was doing and what was going around me and what I took part in. And that's why I was involved from the beginning with Breaking the Silence.
And how long does it take before you're having this consent?
So, look, from the first second I stepped in the occupied territories as a soldier, I started having questions and doubts. But it was only towards the end of my service, the last 4 or 5 months before I got out, that things started becoming more and more clear.
So it was too much for you?
I would say, many times, and many journalists always try to ask, what is the story? What is the event?
Yeah.
And the thing is that there is no story and there is no event. It's just 2 years that I served in the West Bank that came together.
So I think you take a lot of risk to take this position. The position you have, it's position about ideas, deep ideas against, the authorities, Israeli authorities, isn't it?
No, I don't. I must say that once I understood what I've done, I don't think I had a choice. Yeah, I had to break the silence. I really believe that I have to do what I do now. It's not that I really have a choice. Once I understood what I committed and what I was involved, I realized that there was only 2 stands I can take. It's either I'm against it or I'm for it, and I'm against it. So being against it is not remaining silent. Being against it means breaking silence.
How does the Israeli authorities look to you now?
What?
How does the Israeli authorities look to you now?
Look, people would be amazed. I think, Israel is not one thing. Yeah, there is different voices in Israel. It's right that in the Israeli politics, yes, sadly enough, my opponents are ruling the country. But most of the work of Breaking the Silence is done inside Israel. Yeah, we go and speak at schools and high schools and pre-military academies and youth movements and campuses. We're trying to have a fight and change our society and country. So I think, when we started Breaking the Silence in 2004, our first action was a photo exhibit of our experience in Hebron, which is the largest Palestinian city in the West Bank, if you put aside East Jerusalem. And our slogan was, let's bring Hebron to Tel Aviv. Yeah, we wanted people back home to understand what's happening in the occupied territories. What does it mean to do the job there? And I think Israel is Hebron and Tel Aviv. Israel is a place where for 48 years there is a very brutal military occupation. but Israel is also a place where Berkey science can take place.
Yeah.
And the struggle is basically what Israel will be. Is Israel going to be Hebron or Tel Aviv? Is Israel going to be the occupation or an open democratic society? And that's, I think, the question that is on the table. That's why, for me, what I do is not the Palestinian fight. It's the Israeli fight. It's the fight over we as a people, what we stand for.
Or maybe both things, living together.
And I truly believe, that no one is going to live in peace and security until all people will have dignity there. Yeah, I don't think security is, something excluding. I don't think security is or let me phrase it differently. I think security is a mutual concept. Both sides have to have security in order for both sides to have security.